Welcome once again to Speakeasy with Paul F. Tompkins. I am still Paul F. Tompkins, and my guest today you will recognize from her role as Britta on NBC's Community. Please say hello to Gillian Jacobs. Gillian, hello.
Hello, Paul.
Ciao.
Charles.
Thank you for being here.
I'm charmed.
I'm sure. Oh, that's lovely.
It's got a kick to it.
Oh my God, it does. It's kicking me right now.
I told you I like ginger more than you do.
We have this long-running thing. Who likes ginger the most? You finally won. Congratulations.
Common debate among friends.
It's a You play Britta Perry on Community.
I do.
But before then, you've had quite an interesting career. You are a classically trained actress. Young girl growing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saying, you're just a steel town girl on Saturday night. And you're like, I gotta get out of this stupid steel place. And I gotta get
steel box that I'm trapped in.
Steel box. I gotta take some movement classes and some mime.
Spatial work.
Commedia dell'arte. You always knew that you wanted to be a performer.
Yeah. I was 8 when my mom signed me up for my first acting class, and from then on, I knew I wanted to be an actor.
Would you classify your mom as a stage mom though? Because she
No.
doesn't seem...
No, she wasn't. The school called my mom and said I had no friends and was talking to myself on the playground. And that she should find me an extracurricular activity. And she said I was very dramatic as a child, so she thought I would like acting. So that's why she signed me up for the class. But from there on out, I led the way. I demanded that she enroll me in more classes. I insisted that I be in plays. She did not push me into this terrible career. But I remember her driving me an hour to rehearsal, after she's worked a full day. I remember one time she was so tired that she kept reversing and backing into this big garbage dumpster, and she was so tired that she just kept doing it over and over again.
She'd say, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Try that again.
And then doing the
Reverse.
same thing.
Boom. Not gonna do that again. Reverse. Boom.
Oh.
And now, as an adult, that I understand exhaustion in a way you can't as a child, I can understand what mind state my mom was in, but as a kid, I just thought she was losing it.
You went to Juilliard? How aware were you of what Juilliard was before you entered Juilliard? Like, did you know this is a huge deal, or I should feel that this is a huge deal?
I think you get a sense that it's competitive because the auditioning process is very intense for Juilliard. But I didn't really know that much about the history of the school when I went there. I always thought I would go to Carnegie Mellon because I grew up in that steel box. And all young actors in Pittsburgh dream of going to Carnegie Mellon. So I was on that path, and then someone just said you should audition for Juilliard. So I thought, why not?
Did you know at that time what Juilliard was? Had you heard of the school?
I think I had heard of the school. Once I got in, I felt like, well, I couldn't turn down that opportunity.
Right.
But the auditioning process, is pretty rigorous. At the end of every hour, they would list the people who had gotten a call back to the second round. So they'd post a list up at the end of each hour, and it was like one person per hour. Yeah. And then you had to write on this form, what's your greatest strength as an actor, what's your greatest weakness as an actor, and what's your most important theatrical experience.
Now, this is all for children that are trying to get into school.
I was 17,
Right. And do you remember what you put down?
Of course I do. I certainly remember what I put down for my most important theatrical experience, because I thought, I've got this one. So we had done a silent movement piece based on the paintings of Edvard Munch there. So I listed that as my most important theatrical experience. I got in.
There you go. The results speak for themselves.
Yeah, come on.
What was your greatest strength? Do you remember that?
God, I don't remember those. But who wants to say their greatest weakness?
Here's what you always put. I think I'm too hard on myself.
Yes! That's the best. I probably did put that.
I care too much.
I care too much.
When you're in a school like that, is your memory of it, is it good times? Are you relieved that it's over?
Stop you right there. No. Yes. No, it was not fun.
'Cause I bet it was hard.
Yes. It's not a walk in the park. You're in class from 9 in the morning till 11 at night, 5 days a week. You don't really have a social life. You don't have any of those kind of normal college experiences. And I think a lot of people who wanted more of a normal college experience ended up dropping out because there's no room for it.
It's about one thing, and so it's about every aspect of that thing.
Yes, and you never get to choose a class when you're there. So even your elective is chosen for you. But there's not a lot of, self-discovery in terms of like discovering new passions within the art form.
I'm sure there were times where you're studying stuff that maybe you just did not have any interest in whatsoever. Was there stuff like that?
Well, there is a huge emphasis on voice and speech at Juilliard, and the sort of stereotype of a Juilliard actor is that they all come out talking like this and that you can't ever get work in film and television and you're very stiff and, broad. And so I was very conscious. I never really did my voice and speech homework, which is probably why I was on probation there, and they thought about kicking me out. But I did not want to fall into that stereotype, and I knew that ultimately that was not going to serve me well in this business.
Because you knew you wanted to do TV and film, and
yeah,
or did you want to do TV at that time? Or
I didn't go into it thinking that I wanted to do TV and film. I was obsessed with theater growing up.
Do you still go to the theater?
Not really. No.
Did you just theater yourself out?
I just got real sad.
You used it all up too
man.
early.
Gosh, I blew my wad so young in the theater.
So after school, you start getting into the world of independent film, and you've done a lot of independent film work.
Yes.
Some more enjoyable than others.
Correct.
The thing with indie films is that obviously a creative vision can be maintained and protected from outside forces, but then you certainly don't have the perks that working with a studio grants you.
Yes.
So sometimes you're in less than ideal conditions.
Correct.
Have you had your fair share of that?
Oh yes. Oh yes. There was the time I did a film where they didn't have the money for offices or trailers, so they rented the offices of the Dominican Communist Party in Manhattan.
This is going to serve as your dressing rooms.
Dressing rooms, hair and makeup, wardrobe, craft services, everything. And they did not leave the communists. So despite the fact that we were paying them for the use of their offices, they still all came in every day. And they would sit around their conference table, which was a dining room table covered in a plastic sheet. And they would just talk to each other all day, eat our food, and hang around. So my agents had negotiated for me a private changing area. This was the best they could do. So they put me in the office of the party leader. Basically, it was one long room with an unfinished drywall that separated me from the conference room with the conference table. So apparently they did not clear this with the party leader. So on one of our days off, he found out I was in his office, became upset, and had them tear down the wall between me and the conference room. So it was like a reverse Reagan. So the communists tore down their own wall. And so then I came in, and it was just one long room with me sitting behind a desk, and then sitting behind this dining room table, and all of us just staring at each other, kind of defeating the purpose of a private area for me to change.
Yeah.
That's the level of production I've been involved
All
in.
you're asking for is basic human dignity. Please, can we have that?
Please.
Community is in its 5th season?
Yes. You were in its 2nd season?
I don't remember. Let's not talk about me.
Why not?
This is not about me.
It always is.
No, well, secretly. That's the subject. Don't look at my camera! How do you like it?
I'm not threatened by it.
It's been quite a journey with Community.
Correct.
Because you guys have hung in there.
The thing that's kept us going is the Paul F. Tompkins guest star.
That one time?
That one time. They were
You really
about to
think that-
cancel us. Their hand was
Right.
hovering above the cancel button.
Cancel button.
And they said, what were those shows you were referencing? What were you talking about? Oh, you and Abed were talking about your love of
Farscape?
Farscape. And what was the other one?
Babylon 5.
And they went, not
You
gonna
really think
cancel
that
it
was
yet.
2 shows that we could barely remember the names of being mentioned.
They're like, the more obscure the reference, the more into this show we are. Farscape, you say?
Sure. There's a lot of pop culture referencing on that show, not at the expense of the story. Are you always aware of all the references? How often do you have to have stuff explained to you?
I feel like collectively as a cast, we understand all of it,
Right.
but none of us understands all of it.
Right.
So we sort of pool our resources. But I'd never seen Die Hard when we did our...
You whispered it.
shamed.
Hard.
I never seen time. And so we did this paintball episode the first season where Joel isn't wearing shoes. I didn't understand why. Why is he wearing a wife beater? Like there were all these details that Joel was very insistent on them getting correctly, and I didn't understand their significance at all. And certain lines that meant nothing to me that other people were laughing at. There are so many things that we reference on the show that I had never seen before.
Right. Have there been things that you didn't realize was a reference to something, and then later on saw that thing and then got it?
Yes.
Without anyone telling you?
All the Die Hard things. When I finally watched Die Hard, I was like, oh, that's why he's barefoot. I didn't get any of it.
So at the time, no one explained to you this is a reference to Die Hard. Dan Harmon is back on the show. Dan Harmon created the show and ran the show for the first 3 seasons. And then he was gone for a season. How hard of an adjustment was that for you? When did you kind of feel like, oh, okay, I think we can do this okay?
I don't know. I mean, I hate change more than just about anything, which is why this is a terrible profession for me, because there's almost no stability. It's always very unnerving to me, any kind of change. I remember my mom got new living room furniture when I was little, and I burst into tears and told her she was trying to ruin my life. So,
no.
Yeah, I said I have it in my journal. My mom is trying to ruin my life. She got a new sofa.
Do you become attached to inanimate objects?
Well, I think being broke and moving around New York City for years kind of broke me of that because I didn't own anything for a long time.
You don't anthropomorphize things. You don't personify things.
No. I think the fact that I, slept on a chair that folded out into a bed for a long time.
Yeah, shed. I remember those. Oh.
Yeah, those days will really desentimentalize you about things.
Sure.
Sure.
I think I used personifying correctly.
Yeah, why not? Correct away, internet. We know you will. As a kid, I would get very upset when plays would end because then everybody breaks apart and you most likely don't see or work with people again. So that, I kind of got over that as well because you go through that so many times and you get a little scab on your heart about that. But when it's your show and it's the creator of your show, that's like reopening that scab. That's picking off that scab in a major way.
And everybody's in a terrible position.
Yeah.
It
was difficult, and some of our crew left as well, so it was, because we were very close as a cast and crew, and we all really like each other a lot, so that was hard as well, because not only was Dan gone, and most of the writers had left, and then it was different crew, and, I think the thing is that our chemistry as a cast, and people's love of the characters, and all these things had been so well established, I think got us through the 4th season, but I wouldn't want to do it without Dan ever again.
Have you told him this?
He knows how I feel.
I hope so, because he'll never see this. After Community, whenever its final season is, do you see yourself doing another series?
I would like to.
Would you jump into it right away, or would you want to take a break?
I certainly don't want to do another show just to do a show. I would want to do something that I'm passionate about because I feel like the bar has been set so high with Community. But yeah, I would love to do another TV show.
All right, well, then I'm going to pitch you something.
Great, let's hear it.
Well, not right now. At first I have to mail it to myself for copyright purposes.
Oh, that's right. Do you have to do that?
I don't know.
Some of these laws are so convoluted.
We have too many laws. This is what I've been saying.
Always felt that bylaws are the worst.
Thumbs down! Gillian, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a pleasure to chat with you.
Bylaws.
Remember, bylaws, no good. The new season of Community is airing right now on the National Broadcasting Corporation. NBC. Insider talk. That does it for this edition of Speakeasy. Please join me again next time when my guest will be a different person. Fun, right?
Fun.
Fun with words.
Fun.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check back every Monday to see who I interview next. And for more info about Speakeasy, visit mademan.com.